Have you ever noticed that your mind seems hardwired to focus on the negative? It's like no matter how much you try to stay positive, the negative thoughts just keep creeping in. Well, scientists call this phenomenon the negativity bias. And the good news is, today we're going to learn how to combat it. Imagine this. The same voice in your head that says, "Give up," can also be trained to say, "Keep going." This shift in thinking is possible. And in this video, we're going to walk through 5 powerful techniques to help you banish negativity from your life and shift toward a more proactive Stoic mindset. So, why does this matter? Why should you care? Because you don't have to let negativity win. You have the power to train your mind to focus on what you can change. And then take action to make that change happen. In a world filled with distractions and doubts, this can be the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. We'll start by discussing cognitive diffusion, a technique that creates space between you and your thoughts, allowing you to see them for what they truly are. Next, we'll dive into pattern interruption, a method to break those negative thought loops in their tracks. Then, we'll look at negative visualization with a twist, a modern take on an ancient Stoic practice. After that, we'll explore behavioral activation, because sometimes the best way to change your thoughts is by changing your actions. Finally, we'll cover mental model design, which is about restructuring your thought patterns so they serve you rather than hold you back. But before we jump into these techniques, let's answer an important question. When is negativity really a problem? It's one thing to say, "I can't find my wallet," or "I'm locked out of my house." That's normal frustration. But the negativity we're talking about here is much deeper. It's those opinionated, negative thoughts that don't serve your goals, that only leave you feeling bad and less motivated. These are the thoughts that contribute to depression, apathy, and a sense of helplessness. At the core of this video is the belief that we live in a world where we can improve our situations through both our thoughts and actions. So, if your thoughts are working against this, if they're holding you back, that's what we call negativity. As Epictetus wisely said, we can't control what happens to us, but we can control our reactions to it. And that's exactly what this video is about. How to improve your reactions to life's challenges. So, let's kick things off with our first technique, cognitive diffusion. What does this mean? In simple terms, cognitive diffusion is a psychological technique that helps you step back from your thoughts and see them for what they really are. They are just thoughts, not facts, not reality. The word diffusion is the opposite of fusion. Instead of being stuck to your thoughts, you create space between yourself and them. This gives you the freedom to evaluate your thoughts without letting them define your reality. Let me give you a few examples of how cognitive diffusion works in action. Imagine you have a thought like, "I'm never going to be good enough." Instead of identifying with that thought, you step back and say to yourself, "I'm having the thought that I'm never going to be good enough." That simple shift creates a powerful distance between you and the thought, allowing you to recognize it as just that, a thought, not an absolute truth. This gives you the freedom to decide whether to keep it or replace it with something more constructive. By practicing cognitive diffusion, you're no longer fused with negative thoughts, but instead, you can observe them, challenge them, and ultimately change your response to them. And once you start practicing this, you'll begin to realize how much power you truly have over your thoughts. Now, let's dive deeper into the next technique, pattern interruption, where we'll break those negative thought loops that keep you stuck. Stay tuned, because we're just getting started with these life-changing tools. As we've learned, cognitive diffusion helps us create distance from our thoughts, allowing us to observe them without being consumed by them. Now, let's take this a step further and dive into pattern interruption, another powerful technique that can break the cycle of negative thinking. Think about it. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure," you start to notice, "I'm having the thought that I'm failing right now." Instead of thinking, "Nobody likes me," you observe, "My mind is telling me that nobody likes me." And instead of believing, "I can't handle this," you recognize, "I'm noticing thoughts about not being able to handle this." By becoming aware of your thoughts, you gain the ability to step back from them and change the narrative. It's a game changer because once you notice what's happening, you can act on it. So, how do you apply this to your daily life? Here are a few techniques for using cognitive diffusion. Leaves on a stream. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating down a stream, passing by as you observe them. As each leaf drifts farther away, you realize you don't need to engage with them. They're just thoughts. You can simply watch them flow by without letting them affect you. This visualization technique helps you step back and let go of negative thoughts. Thank your mind. When you notice a negative thought, try responding with, "Thank you for that thought." This creates distance between you and the thought. By acknowledging it and thanking your mind, you're recognizing the thought without giving it control. For now, that's enough. You've disengaged from it and can move forward. Name the story. If you notice recurring thought patterns, name them. For example, if you're thinking, "I'm not good enough," you might say to yourself, "There's my not good enough story again." By labeling the thought, you create awareness around it, loosening its grip on you. It's a way of saying, "I see you, but you don't control me." Create physical distance. For a more powerful version of cognitive diffusion, imagine writing your thought on a balloon and watching it float away. It's similar to the leaves on a stream technique, but with the added strength of imagining your thought as something physical. Like a balloon, floating away from you. You may come back to it later. But for now, it's in timeout. You've given yourself the space to think clearly again. So, to recap, here are 4 methods for using cognitive diffusion. Leaves on a stream. Thank your mind. Name the story. And create physical distance. Each technique can help you step back from intense negative thoughts to create the mental space you need to calm down and think more clearly. The key insight here is that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, able to notice thoughts as they come and go. This mental flexibility helps reduce the power negativity has over you. Now, let's move on to pattern interruption. Our second technique, when your mind gets stuck in a cycle of harmful, repetitive thoughts. It's like being trapped in a loop. Pattern interruption helps you break free from this cycle by switching your mental or physical state. Almost like hitting a reset button for your brain. Your brain is wired to create pathways that strengthen with repetition. When you keep thinking the same negative thoughts, those pathways become well-worn roads that your mind naturally follows. Think of it like water flowing down a hill. It will naturally take the path of least resistance. When these negative patterns take hold, they become automatic, and your mind follows them without even realizing it. But what if you could interrupt that flow? What if you could break the cycle and reset your mind? That's what pattern interruption does. When you interrupt the negative thought cycle, you break the pathway that keeps you stuck, giving you the opportunity to choose a different mental path. In the next part of this video, we'll explore exactly how to apply pattern interruption to your daily life, and how simple actions, both mental and physical, can reset your mindset. Stay tuned. As we've explored, breaking out of negative thought patterns requires a combination of awareness and action. Now, let's take a closer look at how you can interrupt these cycles. Negative thoughts tend to trigger another, and before you know it, you're stuck in a loop. So, how do we break free? One simple way is by using a technique we call the temperature splash. When you're caught in that mental spiral, try splashing cold water on your face, taking a hot shower, or even holding an ice cube in your hand. The sudden shift in temperature jolts your nervous system out of its cycle, helping you break free from the negative pattern you're trapped in. Movement is another great pattern interrupter. Stand up, stretch, jump rope, or simply walk to another room. Physical movement shifts your mental state almost instantly. If you've been mentally stuck on something, even a quick change of scenery or a short burst of activity can disrupt the thoughts that were keeping you stuck. It's like hitting the reset button on your mind. And, if you're having a particularly tough time, mental challenges like a quick puzzle or game can help too. When you engage in something that requires concentration, like solving a problem or playing a game, it can be difficult to maintain those negative thoughts. The key here is to create a toolkit of interruptions. Simple techniques you can pull from whenever you feel your thoughts starting to spiral. Start by identifying your common negative thought patterns, the ones that tend to show up most often. Once you're aware of them, select a technique that resonates with you. It could be the temperature splash, a quick walk, or engaging in a mentally stimulating activity. Having these tools ready to go gives you the ability to interrupt the cycle before it gains momentum. Now, let's move on to our third technique, behavioral activation. This is based on a powerful truth. Sometimes, the best way to change your thoughts isn't by thinking more, it's by taking action. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly when he said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of endlessly analyzing why you're feeling negative, take action to shift your mindset. Here's how it works. Embrace the 2-minute rule. When negativity strikes, commit to just 2 minutes of positive action. If you're feeling too depressed to clean your house, just clean for 2 minutes. If you're avoiding a difficult project, work on it for just 2 minutes. Often, once you've overcome the inertia of starting, you'll find yourself continuing beyond those first 2 minutes. It's amazing how powerful the momentum of starting can be. Focus on building a positive history of action. Each small action you take creates evidence that contradicts your negative beliefs. For example, if you think, "I never follow through on anything," completing even one small task proves the opposite. Over time, these small wins add up, making it harder to maintain negative beliefs about yourself. Positive data points act like a counterbalance to negativity. Create specific action plans for different thought patterns. For negative thoughts like, "I'm not making progress," your action could be to list 3 things you've accomplished today. If you're feeling, "I'll never be good enough," you might commit to practicing a skill for 15 minutes. The key is having pre-planned responses ready for those specific negative thoughts. When they arise, you don't have to guess what to do. You already have an action plan. Track your successes to build momentum. Keep a simple log of the actions you take and how they affect your mood. This creates a visible record of your progress, showing you how your actions are leading to positive changes. Tracking your successes helps you see the tangible impact of your efforts, which can further motivate you to keep moving forward. Behavioral activation works because it moves you from passive to active. When you take action, you break the grip of negativity, shifting from feeling helpless to actively working toward improvement. This shift is often enough to help you regain control over your thoughts and actions. Now that we've covered how to take action, let's explore thought recording as our fourth technique. This technique focuses on gradual improvement by systematically examining your thoughts, helping you separate critical thinking from unhelpful negativity. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll show you how to use thought tracking to gain deeper insight into your negative thought patterns and begin shifting them for good. As we've seen, dealing with negative thoughts requires us to challenge them and build new, balanced perspectives. Now, let's explore how to take this even further with the technique of thought recording, which helps you examine and restructure your thoughts to create lasting positive change. Here's how it works. Let's say you're thinking, "My presentation was a disaster." The first step is to write down that thought exactly as it appears in your mind. No filters, no changes, just what you're thinking. Once you've done that, the next step is to list evidence for and against that thought. For example, evidence for might be, "I stumbled over my words." But evidence against might be, "My boss thanked me afterward." This simple act of gathering both sides of the story helps you challenge the negative thought and gain a more balanced perspective. Instead of concluding, "I'm terrible at presentations," you might realize, "I had some rough moments, but I also connected with my audience. With practice, I can improve." This process helps you keep the valuable, critical insights that lead to improvement, while discarding the unhelpful negativity. The Stoics knew that acknowledging reality, including its difficulties, is essential for developing wisdom. Thought recording helps you see situations clearly, without the distortion of excessive pessimism. It allows you to face your thoughts, challenge them, and move toward a more realistic and empowered view of the situation. So, let's recap how to apply this technique. Write down the negative thought exactly as it appears. Then, list evidence for and against it. Finally, create a balanced alternative that reflects all the evidence and represents the truth of the situation. You'll often find that your belief in the negative thought decreases, not because you've forced yourself to think positive, but because you've engaged with reality more fully. And that shift can only be a good thing. Now, let's move on to our fifth and final technique, mental model design. While the previous techniques help you work with negative thoughts as they arise, mental model design focuses on shaping your environment to prevent negativity from taking hold in the first place. Think of it this way: if you wanted to eat healthier, you wouldn't just rely on willpower every time you opened the fridge. Instead, you'd stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and remove temptations. The same principle applies to your mental environment. Let's begin with your physical space. Your surroundings have a profound impact on your thoughts. The ancient Stoics understood this well. Seneca advised us to carefully choose the company we keep and the environments we inhabit. This could mean something as simple as creating a dedicated area for focused work, free from distractions, or even decluttering your living space to reduce the visual chaos that can contribute to mental noise. Research shows that people who work in organized environments are able to persist longer on challenging tasks. A win that helps you overcome the circumstances that allow negative thoughts to arise. Next, consider your digital environment. Our devices can either be gateways to inspiration or sources of despair. Audit your phone's home screen and social media feeds. Replace apps that trigger anxiety with tools that support reflection or learning. If news consumption feeds your negativity bias, set boundaries around it. By actively curating your digital environment, you're removing the mental clutter that can lead to negative thinking. Beyond your physical and digital spaces, mental model design also includes creating positive, thought-supporting routines. The Stoics emphasized the importance of daily practices that strengthen the mind. For example, Marcus Aurelius began each day with journaling, setting his intentions, and reminding himself of his values. You might create a morning routine that includes gratitude practice or visualization of successful outcomes. Alternatively, an evening routine could involve reflecting on what went well, not just what went wrong. These practices help create pathways in your mind that make positive thinking more automatic over time. Lastly, mental model design involves having the courage to restructure your life situations when necessary. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is remove yourself from environments that are misaligned with your values or growth. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Mental model design works because it acknowledges that we are contextual beings. Shaping your environment to align with your best self makes it easier for positivity to flourish. In summary, by thoughtfully designing your environment, physically, digitally, and mentally, you create conditions where positivity becomes the path of least resistance. This proactive approach helps you nurture a mindset that supports growth, resilience, and overall well-being. Now that you have these powerful tools, let's dive into how you can integrate them into your daily life to create lasting, positive change. Stay tuned for practical examples and more actionable insights on the journey toward mastering your mindset. As we've explored, transforming negativity requires consistent effort and intentional practice. The key is creating a life where Stoic resilience becomes your default setting. By implementing the techniques we've covered, you'll be better equipped to handle life's challenges with a clear, calm, and constructive mindset. Start with these practices, and then continue to improve your environment to make yourself stronger. So, how do you keep going from here? Well, it's about continuing to build the foundation you've started. You must fight for your mental strength constantly. It's a lifelong effort. Resilience isn't something that happens overnight. It's developed through consistent, small actions over time. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And as you practice these techniques, you'll gradually notice that resilience becomes your natural response to adversity. Now, let's review what we've covered today. In this video, we've explored 5 powerful Stoic techniques to help you overcome negativity. Cognitive diffusion. This technique helps you create distance from unhelpful thoughts, so you can recognize them for what they really are and not be consumed by them. Pattern interruption. This allows you to break negative mental cycles by shifting your mental or physical state, effectively resetting your mindset. Behavioral activation. Sometimes, the best way to change your thoughts is by taking action. This technique encourages you to act your way into better thinking, using simple, positive actions to shift your mindset. Thought recording. By writing down and examining your thoughts, you can separate constructive thinking from destructive negativity, allowing you to challenge and reframe unhelpful beliefs. Mental model design. This principle is about creating an environment that supports positive thinking. Restructuring your space, both physical and mental, to make resilience and positivity the default. The negativity bias is powerful, but so is your ability to reshape your thoughts and reactions. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By applying these Stoic principles consistently, you can transform your relationship with negativity and build resilience that serves you in every area of life, whether you're starting a business, changing careers, or facing any other life challenge. Now, we'd love to hear from you. If you wouldn't mind, drop a comment below about your own journey with these techniques and Stoicism in general. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to start their own journey towards Stoic wisdom. Remember, like Epictetus, you have the power to transform any circumstance into an opportunity for growth. Whether you're practicing cognitive diffusion, interrupting negative patterns, activating positive behaviors, recording your thoughts, or designing mental models, every moment is a chance to strengthen your inner citadel and turn past failures into present strength. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos on transforming life's challenges into fuel for growth. As Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher always worth our time, once said, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." You can exercise your mind to conquer negativity, if you're willing to do the work and think well. Until next time, keep building your inner strength, one Stoic technique at a time.